You guys, I just had lunch at a restaurant here in Los Angeles and I did not tip. And I don't even feel bad for it because I feel like I can't justify tipping servers. And I'll tell you why. So, at this restaurant, okay, and servers in Los Angeles, they make minimum wage. And at this restaurant, the server did not greet me when I walked in. They did not seat me down or bring me my menu. Um, they did not cook the food. They didn't even bring the food to my table. They don't clear the table. And all they did was take the order and then bring me the check. And it was empty, dead empty. There was no one in there. So they're not moving around, they're not doing anything, and they're just on their phone or they're talking to their coworkers, whatever it is, right? So they're not working hard. And I used to work minimum wage at a yoga studio, cleaning. I would have to clean like 12 showers, mop the floors, and clean hundreds of sweaty mats per shift, like sweaty mats, hang them up to dry, roll them, sell memberships, clean the studios, clean the blocks, clean the weights, all this stuff. I got no tips, okay? Minimum wage. So I don't know why servers feel entitled to make tips when they're not really doing that much anyway, right? It's not like they're even performing a service. It's not like they're doing your hair or your nails or giving you a massage or making something for you, right? And I don't even know if I can like really vouch for even those, like let's say I used to get my hair done. It used to cost me $250 to get highlights, cut, all the stuff, right? And then expected to pay a 20% tip on top of that. For what? Like, you're already charging me $250 when hair dye doesn't even cost that much, So it's like I'm already paying you for your service. Like, why do I need to pay more? Especially with, we don't make that much money, like services cost a ton of money. Food and restaurants keep going up, prices keep going up, minimum wage doesn't really go up. So people who want to go out to eat, it's very expensive for them on top of to begin with, and then have to pay tax on top of that and 20% tip. For what reason? I could justify it if it was a really busy restaurant. It was packed, waitlisted, like the bar was like 10 people deep. They were running around, sweating, like people were like saying like, oh, I don't like my order. And, it's chaotic, like dealing with customers and everything. I can justify like leaving a tip for these guys, but especially if, they don't make minimum wage. But, if somebody makes minimum wage and they're not really doing anything, like why do we need to spend an extra 20% to give them money? For what reason? So I don't know how that became customary. And I don't know why restaurants can't just pay their servers a decent amount of money, right? And why, so many other people don't get tips. Think about teachers, janitors, people who mow your lawn, like nobody else is getting tips for doing really hard work. Construction workers, like so many people, nobody gets tips, and they're working 10 times harder than servers, who are not really doing anything. So that's my rant. I just want to say, if you think that you cannot justify tipping servers, especially when, they're definitely making minimum wage. It's not like they don't make $3 an hour anymore, at least not in certain states. So, I'm sure you've had jobs where you've worked 10 times as hard as somebody taking your order and bringing you your bill. So, and I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in busy restaurants. So, I know. But anyways, it's not mandatory to tip. You don't have to. Nothing's going to happen. It's not illegal or anything. So, yeah, people might think it's rude, but I don't know why people have this entitlement issue where they think that you just have to give them money, give them extra money on top of the very expensive meal that you're already purchasing. So, it's almost like when you get DoorDash or something. Let's say you order food, and they charge you. Not only do they raise their prices, the prices are higher on DoorDash, but they also charge a fee, like a delivery fee, and then you have to tip on top of that? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sorry if you're a server or anyone who expects tips, but I can't justify it. So I feel like there's so many people in the world who work so hard who don't get any extra tips and probably make a lot less than people who do already make tips as the base before they get the tips. So like getting your hair done for a couple $100 already, that's like a lot of money, and then expecting someone to pay you extra on top of that. So, and maybe companies should just pay their employees well, right? Why is it up to us? Like, where's all their money going? Anyways, see you guys later.